Hello everyone and welcome to this episode of the StudsUp podcast. I'm Garfield. I'm joined as always by Simon Says. Today we're going to do a preview of this week's round of the English Premier League. If you'd like to look at any of our old podcasts, by the way, they're all on our new iTunes page, which is really exciting. You can just find us at StudsUp Podcast, type it in, we come straight up, our whole back catalogue's there. Also, you can get in touch with us at any time. You can just go to our Facebook page, just type in StudsUp, we come straight up, leave a comment, you can mention our tipping, you can tip with us back, you can try and beat us for our tips on this round, or you can visit our website, studsup-football.com. Simon Says, let's get into our tips for this round like we do every week. We'll read out all the games, we'll give each other the scores. We have not seen each other's scores in these matches, so let's see how we go. First game out of the rank is Watford versus Everton. What have you gone?
1-0 to Everton.
Ooh, I've gone 2-1 to Watford. Ooh, okay, interesting start. Burnley versus Bournemouth.
1-1.
I've gone 2-1 to Burnley. That was a little bit ballsy for me because I desperately wanted to go a draw. All right, Arsenal versus Stoke.
2-1 to the Arsenal.
I've gone 3-1 to the Arsenal. Hull versus Crystal Palace.
2-1 to Crystal Palace.
Oh, I've gone 1-0 to Crystal Palace.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Swansea versus Sunderland.
2-1 to Sunderland.
Damn, that's what I did. I went 2-1 Sunderland.
I thought that was going to be ballsy.
That's what I thought as well.
Fair enough.
Well, that's going to come back and bite us in the arse, I can tell.
Yeah.
Leicester versus Manchester City.
3-1 to City.
3-0 to City. Chelsea versus West Bromwich Albion.
2-1 to Chelsea.
3-1 to Chelsea. Southampton versus Middlesbrough.
2-1 to Southampton.
1-0 to Southampton. I've gone Manchester United versus Tottenham.
1-1.
1-0 to Manchester United.
You wish. It's either going to be a Tottenham win or a draw.
I do, actually. And finally, West Ham United versus Liverpool.
2-1 to Liverpool.
I've gone 2-0 to Liverpool.
Oh,
There you go.
isn't that interesting?
Yeah, all right. Well, let's go through the round here. I like that we kind of went against each other first up. Watford against Everton. You've gone for an Everton win there, 1-0.
I think they'll make a comeback. I think against Watford, who are in bad form now, I think that...
I think Watford are a very different proposition at home, my friends.
They totally are.
And I think Everton are a very different proposition away without Pelosi.
I just think that Lukaku against their defence could do it.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Everton can definitely do that game. I mean...
That's why I've said 1-0. I think it's going to be 0-0 for most of the game. And then
they'll nick one.
There'll be a nick.
Lukaku!
They'll nick it. Yeah, pretty much exactly that.
Okay. No, I think Watford have got enough in their tank. I think Capoue, Deeney...
Well, I look forward to proving you wrong.
Well,
prove me wrong, children. Prove me wrong.
We'll find out. We'll find out in just under a week. Everton have got so many injuries at the moment that I don't know, man. I really want them to win that game, but I don't see it.
I know what I've done there. I'm pretty confident.
Okay. I don't know what you've done there, and I am also not as confident as I'd like to be, but I'm sticking by my tip.
I get it.
2-1 to Watford.
You're wrong, but sure.
Well, we'll soon find out. How about Burnley versus Bournemouth? You've gone 1-1, haven't you?
Yeah, okay. Why have I gone for 1-0?
Score that I wanted to go for.
Okay. So you sort of agree with my...
Yeah, I do.
So I sat on the fence on that because I know that they're good at Turf Moor.
Yeah.
But I also think that Bournemouth, as good as they are, could now be on some kind of run.
Yeah, this is why I thought maybe they're going to travel okay, because they're not usually great travellers, and Turf Moor is a tough place to go.
Yeah, which is why I don't think they'll win it.
That's why I've gone for Burnley, because I think, as we were saying in our last podcast, only Coventry have stayed up not winning an away game. So Burnley's home form is really what's going to sustain them this season.
And they know it.
And they do know it, and they come out
lift,
firing. Yeah.
And their little crowd, what is it, a 12,000 seat stadium?
No, it's a bit more than that, I think.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it's 21, I think.
Well, whatever it is...
Oh, it's intimidating.
They just
go
nuts. Yeah. They are brilliant fans.
Yeah, it's a cauldron. And
Massive
so that's
cauldron.
why I've gone 2-1 to Burnley. I don't think they're in bad form, Burnley.
So this one I'm less confident on. I feel pretty confident in my Everton game choice, but I feel less confident in this. I could totally see Burnley nicking this.
But I could see Bournemouth nicking it, to be fair.
Yeah, true. I think any results...
they're in.
This is the Premier League, and I love this competition.
Yeah,
and I'm actually not that... I don't feel that bad that my tips are so wrong all the time.
No, because
this is the league.
Yeah, also,
Love
no
this
one else
league.
is getting them.
Yeah,
Again,
love this
between
league.
us, we're half of Robbie Savage each, but he gets about 4 a week in tipping, so we're not
Yeah,
that bad.
it's like when I'm on the tipping competition with Fox Sports.
Yeah.
And you look at what the top round of tipping has been, and somebody has magically tipped the round, and he's got whatever points it is, 600 points or whatever.
Yeah.
But then you look at the average and it's like 90, which means people have basically gotten 2, maybe 3 right.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. You're going to have the odd person who gets it right. Who
just gets it,
Who's
yeah.
just being a weirdo and picking random results. But then you've got the real effort, which is, well, okay, these things are...
they're very hard to pick.
This is impossible to tip.
They're very hard to pick.
So, yeah, no, I'm with you. I could totally see your 2-1, eventuating. But
a game that I could definitely see only going one way, if I'm being brutally honest. In the form they're in, Arsenal versus Stoke,
Yep.
I went 3-1 to the Arsenal.
I went 2-1. Not for any good reason. I just think Stoke will be a stronger proposition.
Stoke are a good team. I think they can nick a goal, but can they keep Arsenal out in the form that Sanchez and Ursula are in? I doubt it.
But they haven't got some bad defenders, though. I think that Stoke can be tight.
Yeah.
So
the interesting note, by the way, Theo Walcott's been in quite bad form. I wouldn't be surprised to see him dropped from this game.
I would definitely drop him.
He didn't have, if I can remember the stats from the last match, he didn't create a chance, he didn't have a shot on target, and he completed less than 50% of his passes.
Yeah, and even the goals he has scored in the last 3 or 4 goals he's scored, jammy, fill up that thing and sell it at Woolies.
Here's my donut.
Yeah. Where's the donut?
Yeah. No,
so jammy.
And he's not in great form. I could see him being dropped for maybe Aaron Ramsey or...
I reckon they'll maybe go Giroud for height and power.
You know they could do, since he scored a hat-trick in this week's Champions League round, is Perez. He would be a really interesting start for them.
Not a bad call. I just think that Giroud, given his Premier League, type...
Yeah, but Giroud means you have to change the entire style of play. You can't play Sanchez as your false 9.
Yes, but he doesn't have to play false 9.
No, he doesn't have to. But you
drop Walcott.
Yeah, but
then you bring Giroud to the centre.
Yeah.
You put Sanchez out where Walcott was.
You don't want
Ozil on the other side. Boom, you're done.
Yeah, but you want to. This is home. You want to play.
Do you know how well they played with Giroud in the side though?
Yeah,
with Sanchez.
Don't get me wrong. I really like Giroud, but at the moment he's a great option off the bench.
We'll see what happens.
Great option off the bench.
We'll see what happens.
Great option off the bench.
We'll see what happens.
Great option off the bench. Anyway, let's move on to
You're a great option off the bench.
Thank you. If I was a great option off the bench
Not for the
Arsenal,
Premier League.
Championship?
No.
League 2?
I was going to say the King's School Thirds. Player manager.
Hey, player manager, buddy. All right? You show me some respect. I will drop you. Don't think I won't drop you.
I was undroppable because I played for the seconds.
I know, yeah.
So undroppable, mate.
Yeah, you would have been my all-star player.
I was your all-star.
Yeah, when you played, yeah. That's the depressing thought. Anyway, Hull versus Crystal Palace. I went 1-0 to Palace.
We both tipped Crystal Palace, which is, by the way, ballsy on our part.
A little bit. Hull are pretty good at the KC, but I think...
They are.
But I think this is the start of the Crystal Palace run, which I've been saying now for about 3 months.
No. Different, though. I'm feeling this, though. I think that they just needed that.
They needed to turn the corner.
And then they'll do it again.
Yeah.
Then they'll go on another big run of losses towards the end of the season.
Yeah, there'll be 6 more in the bank before the end of the season. But I think this is... If they can pick up 6 points from last week and this week coming... Boom, all of a sudden the pressure's off Pardew a bit. They'll be sitting up around 13th, 14th. It'll all be happy days
12th.
Again. 12th, yeah. The magical 12th. And they'll start hopefully climbing up the table for them. Hull are in big trouble, but I mean, we've known that all season. God bless Robert Snodgrass for...
They've been in trouble since before the season started.
Yeah, exactly.
They were relegated before it started.
It did, yeah. I mean, to lose your manager in the way that they did in Steve Bruce.
And have no players.
Yeah, and then poor Mike Phelan. And by the way, P.S., let me just rant here very quickly about Hull. I can't believe the media have come out and said, Mike Phelan's not the right manager for Hull City.
That's bogus.
Who is the right manager? They don't have any players.
There's no manager. It's a suicide mission.
It's kamikaze. That is suicide. I mean, that is professional career-ending suicide. Dude, if he can finish 19th with that team,
he's done
I
well.
will consider that an achievement.
Yeah.
I honestly
Because they should be odds on for last.
Or not just odds on, they definitely have to be last. I mean...
It should be paying Leicester-type odds for them to finish anything other than last.
Yeah, if they could finish 17th, that should be your 5,000 to 1 shot because it's that implausible that they could do it. Unless they strengthen in January, which it doesn't look like they will.
Who's going to go to a sinking ship?
Who would? And even then, I mean, they don't seemingly have any money.
Yeah. But where does the money then come from? Good point. But are they going to get a loan? They're going to mortgage the stadium?
Yeah.
What are they going to do?
With an owner that hates them. But I genuinely hate the media attack on Mike Phelan. I mean,
because firstly, I think he's a good manager.
He is, and it's his first managerial gig.
Yeah,
I think it's really harsh
unfair.
on the guy.
Really
harsh. And he's done a pretty good job. I mean, he's got Robert Snodgrass playing out of his skin.
He got given the worst job in the league.
Possibly the worst actual squad in terms of depth and in terms of players I've seen in the Premier League in the last... Since Derby.
Since Derby.
Since Derby
County. Took it out of my mouth. Since Derby.
Yeah. And that is saying something.
That's saying a lot. A lot. Didn't they go winless?
Not quite. I think they won 2 matches and
I don't know if it was that. I think it might have been one. Maybe you're right.
I
know it was really awful.
Yeah, they finished. I think it was on 12 points.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And I think Hull are already on 11.
Yeah, they'll get there.
Yeah.
They'll eclipse that.
They'll beat the Derby record.
Yeah.
But anyway, having said all that, I'm still going Crystal Palace for a 1-0 win, even away from home. Swansea versus Sunderland in what is a massive game for these two clubs. This is a 6-pointer early in the season.
Yeah, really early on. This is a relegation 6-pointer.
To be fair, you could say the same about Hull and Crystal Palace.
Yeah, fair call.
I mean, if Hull win, Palace basically go to 17th.
It's a good point. It's a good point. I mean, because they are points wise, there's a small difference there, isn't there? They are on.
Yeah, they're not quite.
I'm stalling, so I'm trying to see the points here. Give me a sec. 14 points, plays 11.
So right, that's what I mean. So they'll basically be on the same amount of It won't be good. It won't be a good look for
Hull's got minus 18 goal difference, and Palace is minus 2.
Yeah.
So
which is not.
Palace will have them,
but you don't want it to be on goal difference.
Still bad.
Same as the Swansea-Sunderland game. I mean, if Sunderland can win this, they move to what?
The same.
We did. We both tipped 2-1 to Sunderland, even though it's away from home. Yeah, it's a huge result if Sunderland could pull it off. If Sunderland win that game, they'll move to 14 points, and all of a sudden, things will look pretty rosy at the Stadium of Light. But they need to win that game. Neither of these two teams can afford a draw, even at this stage of the season. They've got to go out for it. I mean, Swansea, in the last month, the performances I've seen have been substandard championship class.
All diabolical, barring that game against Palace, where they were inspired.
But even then, I mean, that seemed like a fluke.
And they still shipped 4 goals.
That's what I mean. That's a fluke result that you're not going to get every week.
And Sigurdsson scored that screamer.
Sigurdsson's clearly the key to their season.
Pulled the strings. Yeah, and it's unfair.
Sigurdsson and Leroy Fer.
It's so unfortunate that he's being laboured like this.
I'll tell you what.
He shouldn't stay there.
If they do go down, he's definitely moving. Probably to a club. I'll tell you who I'd love to see him at is actually Everton.
Yeah, okay.
He'd be amazing there.
I don't know why, but I thought you were going to say Southampton.
Yeah, he'd be pretty good there too, but they play a different shape.
They do. I don't know why. I just thought you were going to say Southampton.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I could also see him playing there, but Southampton, I don't know.
I could see him playing somewhere like Stoke, who need a bit of that creativity from the midfield.
Well,
to really supply people like Shaqiri and Arnautovic.
I mean, he could play as a number 10 there behind a front man whose name isn't Wilfred Boney.
Maybe WBA or Middlesbrough.
Oh, I'll tell you what, if WBA could pick him up, because of how amazing he is at set pieces, they would pull us the hell out of most teams in the league.
It's a good point.
All of a sudden, I'd be seriously thinking to myself, gee, West Brom here could really finish 8th.
Or if you were Leicester and you sold Mahrez for a fortune, would you then buy
I would go
Sigurdsson?
for someone like Sigurdsson, or
something.
Or I'd go for Arnautovic or someone like that,
True.
As a like-for-like replacement, I'd go for Arnautovic.
Yeah, good point.
Anyway, no, from what I've seen of Swansea,
I'm really keen on that game. That's a game I'm definitely going to watch because
it's going to be a live game for me as well.
Yeah, that's a live game because honestly, I'm really interested to see what that is. I mean, such a big game so early in the season.
Well, I mean, if it wasn't for one of the other games that's coming up a little bit later on, I would call that my game of the week.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, well, it's
practically
it's a 6-pointer.
You don't have to convince me.
Yeah, 6-pointer, baby.
I'm convinced.
Anyway, let's move on to the next game, which, to be fair, at the start of this season
Was game of the
would have
round.
been game of the round, but
Yeah.
now is definitely not.
What a
Leicester
fizz. What a fizzle.
Yeah, Leicester versus Manchester City. I've gone 3-0 to City.
I went
and
3-1, which is much
Yeah.
over muchness. It's whatever, Trevor.
Can Trevor Sinclair, who used to play for Leicester
And City.
and City,
Yeah.
witchcraft. There you go.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Get out of here.
that's my scouting brain.
Get out of here.
So what? Like, can you see Leicester pulling anything out of that game at all?
Yes, but not going to happen.
Okay.
I could see like if it happened, I'd sit here and then have memories of last season.
Yeah.
And think to
It would
myself,
have to be a
oh, yeah.
flashback.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I just can't. I just can't. Well, firstly, the reason why I won't feel that way and why I don't think it'll happen is I think Vardy's going to get dropped, like you said.
Vardy will almost certainly get dropped. He didn't even
Can he
travel.
risk him? Can he risk him for a big game against City like this?
Well,
because this is the
bizarrely-
sort of match. This is the sort of match that if they were to win it, this could completely reignite their season.
Yeah. Also, it's the kind of game where, as perverse as this sounds, I actually think Vardy's most suited to.
Yeah.
Because
Big
he can
game.
play and he can play on the break.
Off the
and he-
last man.
That's right. And if there's
Dominate a failing defense. He would have Stones inside out.
in his pocket.
And he would absolutely be
Yeah.
much. He's quicker than Otamendi.
He's got enough speed to cause them some issues.
And tenacity.
Yeah, I mean, it's the kind of game where I think it'd be his last chance saloon game. Where I'd say to Vardy, look, mate, you did it last season and we love you for it and we gave you a big, fat, juicy contract for your trouble. Go out there and put one past the champions. And you know what? Even if they got beaten 3-0, but he put one past, well, the would-be elect champions. If they could put one past City with Vardy up there, even if they then lost 3-1, but it was a classic Leicester goal, at
People would
least you
feel
could
something.
you could look at it and say, oh, okay, maybe there's enough spark in that team to come back. But I cannot see Leicester.
But if our tip comes to fruition, that's bad because their only run at the moment is at home.
Yeah, that's really...
They lose a home
that's
game
really
as well.
Bad for Leicester.
Really bad.
Really bad for
Oh
Leicester.
yeah.
I
And
mean-
what's their run looking like? I mean, I think it only gets worse for them, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Haven't they got like a
it's-
pretty difficult run
It
leading
is.
into
It's
Christmas?
not an amazing run. I mean, they've played a bunch of their easier games, which is scary.
So they've
for
got
them.
obviously City, then it's Bournemouth, Stoke, Everton, and West Ham on New Year's Day.
So that's four teams right there that they can beat. Mm-hmm. But will they beat even two of them?
They've got Everton and West Ham at the King Power.
Okay. Well,
So-
they're two winnable, eminently winnable games.
Yeah.
So let's say they can get.
Whereas Bournemouth at home, we've just seen
yeah,
how good they can be.
Let's say from those run of 5 games they can pick up 7 points. Then they're out
Suddenly
of
not so
relegation
bad.
trouble, and you look at
Suddenly
okay.
not so bad.
Yeah. However, if they only pick up 3 points, then they're right in the mire.
I just had a quick squiz ahead,
Mm.
and they don't ever have a really awful run of games at any point. They're kind of very spread out.
Well, they are the champions, so you get that kind of advantage being the champions.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, so it's pretty well spread out. They don't have any corridors of death coming
Yeah,
up. So
okay.
well, maybe they got a half a chance. Look, I just still think though that they lose this match, the nerves get even worse because now they've lost a home match that they were sort of relying on.
You know what the perverse thing is? I could just as easily turn around and say, well, you know, most of these players have gone through a relegation battle and they survived it.
Yeah, that's so true.
So they're in this very unique situation.
They're
where-
almost more used to that than they are to the other
That's
feeling.
what I mean. And to think about it this way, their champions, the run to the championship last season was basically them in relegation form, eking out 1-0 wins for the last 12 rounds.
Yep.
You know, like they should be used to that. They can put their backs against the wall. I think they're going to really put in an effort at home against City, but I can't see, particularly after City lost to Chelsea.
I'm so interested to see what he does to this side now, because now that he's finally come out and basically said, I need to change things,
Yeah.
there's a problem, I want to see what he does.
Yeah, no, I'm in complete agreement with you. All right, but let's move to the next game. Chelsea versus West Bromwich Albion. I've gone 3-1 to Chelsea because they look unstoppable.
I went 2-1 only because I think that WBA can, you know,
They'll come up and shut up shop and
they're a
try and pull
tenacious
us
side.
you. They will try to pull us you.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure all the pullising in the world is going to currently beat this Chelsea team.
Yeah, but I also think that Chelsea, because look, City came at Chelsea
Yeah.
and that suited them.
Yeah.
That suited them. That's kind of why they were bagging the goals. I feel like when West Brom won't be coming at them because they're away from home as well, I don't think they'll be quite as many holes. So, and I don't know. It's harder for everybody when that happens. I just think back to the Liverpool game where Liverpool dominated against West Brom. We won 2-0 in the end. And really, I mean, we say 2-0, but the second goal was in like the 93rd minute.
Yeah, and I could see that happening. I could totally see that happening.
Yeah, so I was a little bit, I'm less... I've called it 2-1, not because I necessarily think that West Brom's in with a chance. I think that's going to be the cleanest 2-1 victory you'll see. Yeah. But, like you said, I can see them policing a goal.
I've gone 3-1 there because I think, unlike any other team in the league, at the moment, they've got a player in Eden Hazard who, even if you shut up shop against him, he can just dance through you and poke a ball home.
And the best centre forward in the world.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, the game's already basically over for you unless you've got enough attack in you. By the way, just going back really quickly to a bit of fantasy manager that we were playing before, you know, I would love to see WBA by at the end of the season if Hull get relegated is Robert Snodgrass. He's the perfect fit.
Well, he's wasted there. He's going to go somewhere else.
Imagine Phillips on one side.
I need no convincing.
Snodgrass on the other.
It's a good buy.
And Rondon up front. Anyway, yeah, no.
So you're definitely keeping your job that you got sacked from and rehired from last potty.
Yeah, I got my scouting cap back on.
Yeah, I can see that.
All right, let's move to the next game there. It's Southampton versus Middlesbrough. It's in St Mary's. I've gone 1-0 to Southampton.
I've gone 2-1. Same margin of victory.
Yeah.
I like to think that Middlesbrough's got a goal in them.
Yes, so do I, for the most part.
Southampton, they're not without their issues.
No, I mean...
They can have bad games.
Look, they clearly last week took their eye off the ball because they were worried about the Europa Cup. That was basically...
I'm surprised, though, because they should have felt that Palace was a brittle,
winnable
game.
Was there for the taking.
So, surprising. But I think against probably a more resolute Middlesbrough side, someone who at least tries harder and doesn't lose focus.
Yeah.
I don't know. I give Middlesbrough a shout for a goal, but like you said, 1-0, 2-1, much of a muchness.
Yeah, I just think Southampton at St Mary's against a team that has improved and is looking pretty good.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm with you. We've both tipped the victory, so I'm not really...
Yeah.
I think that's a bit of a nothing game. I think they're both going to end up being quite mid-table-ish, and I think that'll be it.
Yeah, lazy 12th for both of them.
You can't have 2 12ths.
No, I actually think, to be honest, Middlesbrough's going to finish about 15th. But
yeah, which I think is still fine. Yeah, it's an excellent result for them.
It's a great first season back in the
Great first season.
All right, let's move on to not the game of the round. Let's move on to West Ham versus Liverpool.
Yeah, fair enough.
Saving the best to last.
Look, we've both gone for the Liverpool victory, which P.S. don't be so sure about. Because
against this West Ham team at home where they're at their worst?
But I just think this West Ham team only needs one game to just snap into it, and they might pump Liverpool 5-1 or something ridiculous where Payet gets a hat-trick,
you've
Antonio
been
gets
a
2
Liverpool
goals.
fan for far too long, my friend.
Yeah. I'm just saying that teams generally make comebacks against Liverpool.
Okay.
Teams can have these awful runs, and they spark them again against
I always feel that way about United.
This
teams
season.
in the relegation zone.
This season.
I don't know. There's been a bunch of games where like Burnley have come out and beaten us in seasons gone past.
Yeah, no, I still feel like it's Liverpool's caper.
So what scoreline did you go?
I went 1-2, so 2-1 to the pool.
Okay, I went 2-0 to Liverpool.
Which I totally get.
I can't see them.
On the flip side, I could also see Liverpool doing something devastating to West Ham and basically effectively having him fired. With a 5-0 or something. Do an Arsenal.
Yeah, we just saw them get absolutely trounced by Arsenal.
They looked like the away side, and I think that could happen again.
And again, that was West Ham at home. And at the Olympic Stadium, they do not look good.
I think their formation's going to suit Liverpool a little bit.
Oh, my goodness. That's
I think
3-4-1-2 or whatever.
I think they're going to struggle to play Liverpool.
Well, actually, to be fair, they've changed to a 5-4-1 at the moment, but it just hasn't really... It
not
worked against United, and
I don't think it's going to work.
Thumped by
because
Arsenal.
of Liverpool's fluidity, I think they're going to drag that back 5 way off out of position, and before you know it, you can actually have the wrong players against the wrong players, and I think that Liverpool's got this chance.
But particularly when he plays Antonio at right back.
I think Liverpool looks a lot weaker without Coutinho, though. That's my big caveat.
Yeah, but Lallana should be back.
Which is why I didn't go for a bit. Yeah, look, absolutely, and he makes a huge difference.
Huge.
I just think that...
The king of the Cruyff turn.
What happens, though, with I hate to say this because I like Origi as a player. I just don't think he suits the side and the setup. I think he needs to be dropped.
He's a great plan B.
Yeah, I think he needs to be dropped. and I think it needs to be Firmino stays in the centre.
Yeah.
And I think you play Mane and Lallana as your wides.
Yeah.
And then you play
Who's your link
Wijnaldum.
player?
You play Wijnaldum, Henderson, and Shan.
Yeah, okay. That's
totally, a good side.
Totally reasonable.
Still a good side.
Totally
and
see
I'm happy
that.
with that.
Yep.
Play that side instead of
can
Origi.
play as your link plan from midfield.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
And Hendo's long balls are pretty good. Like, he's got the Hollywood ball in him. He can pick the pass.
Yeah.
And that's probably the only thing he's done well this season.
He's got legs on him as well.
Yeah.
He runs around a lot.
And Emre is a good link player because he's box to box, a true box to box.
Yeah, but he's like a
He's an
90
engine.
box to box. You know what I mean? Like,
he's like a Gerrard, like a Roy Keane. He's like a he's very much like those players.
He reminds me more of a David Batty.
No, honestly, he reminds me more of Roy Keane.
Oh, he doesn't
because he's got mongrel.
Oh, but he's not a Keno, my friend.
Watch him in a few years.
Okay. Whoa,
I think that's where he's going.
Mark this on the podcast.
I think that's where. I think
he
will be one of the.
You think he's going to be a Keno?
I think he will be one of the big defensive midfield or box-to-box midfielders in the Premier League.
Keno's a huge. That's not just a call. That is huge.
I know.
Right into our
rate
Facebook,
him that much.
Everyone, tell everyone why Simon says is such an
Have
idiot.
you not seen him though?
Have you
not seen
him play? He's good.
His defense
Don't get me wrong,
better than
fan.
Keno's because he can execute a tackle just that bit better.
Or so could Keno when he was not trying to kill people.
He's got as good a shot, and now in his early 20s, he's got mongrel. He's got leadership qualities. He runs endlessly, doesn't complain, puts the hard yards in for the team, and he makes the two midfielders around him look like better players.
Oh, I'm agreeing with all of this.
So all of that sounds exactly like how I would describe Keno at the same time.
All right, when Emre Can decides to
Be
single-handedly dismantle Juventus in a Champions League semi-final, then I will agree with you.
So I actually see that happening.
Okay.
So I'm not saying that just because I see a bit of talent in the guy. I can see that sort of performance
Now,
in him.
don't get me wrong. I will caveat this by saying he's very talented. I think he's in the top 3 players in your squad in terms of pure talent, but he's still a very raw gem.
Yeah,
I think he's hell of a long way to go before he's on Keno's level.
Didn't say it was tomorrow.
Yeah, I'd give him
definitely next week.
All right, in 7 days' time, we'll come back for next week's podcast.
He's got years to go, but that doesn't matter to me. I think that's the exciting bit about him.
Yeah, he's a very good player. No one comes through the Bayern Munich academy who is a polly-wally crappy player. You know?
And now that he's with Klopp especially.
Oh, yeah. I can only agree with that. Klopp's going to make him a much better player over time, but it's going to take him time. Let's move on to...
Game of the round.
Manchester United versus Tottenham at Old Trafford.
So we disagreed on the score.
Yes, we did.
Or did we? Are you just being parochial?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm very worried.
I'm with you. I would do the same. I get it. P.S. I would like to tip United. I would...
Well, for the league at the moment,
do you know what I do with United now?
To win this
do you know what I do with United now? I write the tip in my head, and then I say, okay, what did I go with in my head? Okay, I'm doing something different.
Yeah, well, you have to. You've got to Costanza that.
Yep, until they start proving me wrong for the right reasons, I'm now against United. I now believe that in these clutch matches, I think that if there's a team that could get the draw out of them, I think that's Tottenham for sure. I think that they're going to sit a little deeper against Tottenham. I don't think he's going to take too many risks in attack because of how they play. I could see this match turning out very much like the Anfield game.
Yeah, see, I would, if I was Mourinho, and it's proved time and again that this season I am clearly not, but I would go the way that he went against Arsenal and actually press Tottenham high early and try and, at Old Trafford in particular, try and make them think, oh, we're in for a match here, guys. Oh, boy. Put him on the back foot early. Use Mkhitaryan. Use Martial. Use Ibra, obviously. Hell, you know what? In this game, I'd let him use Rooney.
So would I.
I'd let him use Rooney.
But you wouldn't be wrong. That would be the right move.
I know. That pains me to say that at the moment.
This is not the game to go Tottenham one-on-one for skills.
No, this is not a mono game.
Do not do that.
This is a let's get stuck in, lads, with a little bit of flair on the wings and a little bit of steel through the middle.
If this was United of 5 years ago or 6 years ago, fine, different story.
Please, you know what I'd be bringing up? I'd be bringing up the famous Sir Alex Ferguson team talk in Keno's autobiography. Speaking of Keno, there was a game coming up. I know, he's so cool. I
love him.
There was a game coming up against Tottenham, and he said, "Oh, come on, Fergie!" Like in his head, "Come on, Fergie! Don't give us some big talk. Don't tell us about the strengths and weaknesses of Tottenham. Just don't do it." And Ferguson walked into the room, and his entire team talk was, lads, it's Tottenham. That was it. They went out and spanked them. That would have been it 5 years ago, but you know exactly what Posh is saying to his lads in the dressing room before this United game? Lads, it's Manchester United.
With Mourinho.
With Mourinho.
Yeah. They're
That's
done.
Scary.
Yeah, it's a scary thought.
Well,
I can't believe we're having this discussion.
Oh, it's
especially
surreal.
after I actually genuinely thought the turnaround had begun.
Yeah.
I thought the Pogba acquisition, the Mourinho acquisition,
the Ibra,
I was championing that.
Yeah, Ibra.
The Ibra acquisition. I know you were much more apprehensive about Mourinho than I was. I was quite the opposite. I thought he was the second coming for United.
No, I was always very skeptical.
I can't believe we're sitting here now thinking to ourselves, I mean, this shouldn't even be a conversation. Doesn't matter how good Tottenham are looking.
Yeah, you know
United at Old Trafford, I should be sitting here telling you, Garfield, 3-1 to United, 2-1 to United.
Yeah, I'd be saying,
they're going to make it out.
Yeah, 2-1, I agree, yeah. And you know what?
Because you're sitting here, you've written 1-0
and
with
I'm
the shakiest
stressing.
hand.
Yeah, I know.
And he's like profusely sweating.
Yep.
He's sitting in one of those little blow-up kiddie pools because it's just got to collect all the sweat. He's done. He's just a mess.
Yeah. I mean, this is in my worst case scenario in my head. I thought we'd be discussing Mourinho in 4th or 5th right now, but easily within reaching distance of 3rd. That's my worst case scenario for this season.
Absolutely.
We are what? What are we? 10 points off 4th, I think it is. 10 off 4th.
9.
9 off 4th. And what, 7, 6, 7
Yeah,
off?
but also miles off in goal difference.
Yeah. And
12 goals off in goal difference.
And 13 off the leaders. And what are we, 6, 7 points behind Tottenham in 5th?
When was the last time Man United trailed Liverpool by 9 points?
Oh, I couldn't think of a time. In the Premier League era, I couldn't think
Has
of
there
one.
been?
We've definitely finished behind Liverpool.
Yes,
in the
not
Premier
by
League
9
era,
points.
Not by 9.
Okay, I'm going to say it now. You have not in the Premier League era. Someone prove me wrong.
Yeah, right.
But you have not been behind Liverpool by 9 points ever in the Premier League era.
Not that I can think of. No.
That's got to be disturbing for the faithful.
Scary. That's very scary. And I mean, if we can't win this game, and I mean win this game against Tottenham, and close that gap to 4 points.
Oh, yeah, because let's not forget, this is a 6-point game.
This is a 6-pointer for United.
And you're 6 points behind already.
Okay, yeah, so we have to close the gap to 3 for 5th place.
P.S. Tottenham win this match.
It's over for United.
Liverpool win, Chelsea win, City and Arsenal win.
Yeah.
That is actually done.
16, 17 points off the leaderboard by that. Yeah, it's all over. Yeah, it's all, and Champions League's done. So this is a must-win game for even the slightest hope of staying in it for this season.
And not just that, to give the players and the fans
and the
faith
faithful,
again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give them faith again.
Yeah, it's so that's the game of the round. I imagine we'll be discussing that one first out next week when we do our review. So stay tuned for that. Look forward to that one. By the way, if you ever want to get in touch with us, you can always go on our Facebook page, StudsUp, or go to our website, studsup-football.com. And also, don't forget, we now have an iTunes account. It's up and running. You can go on there and listen to us anytime you want on your Android or Apple device. Yeah, that was me being all like corporate and stuff.
That was very corporate. Almost sickeningly corporate.
Yeah, it was a little bit. Anyway, so that's